Hello, ladies and men, and my non-binary friends. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Rizzo, and we are playing some more Stardew Valley. We're going to start our day by checking our mailbox. Hello, dear. I know you've just started getting started as a gardener. I know you're just getting started as a gardener, so I wanted to give you a little tip. Most crops only grow in one season. When summer arrives, your crops will all die out, so plan ahead. Granny Evelyn. I did know that. Oh, and the month in Harvest Moon, the seasons usually last for 30 days. They only last for 28 in this one, and I always forget that when I start playing it again. And then I get caught off guard, and I don't have enough time for my plants. Anyway, I'm going to dig some more holes, because we got to plant some more turnips to try to get some 5-star turnips, or parsnips, my apologies, not turnips, to put them in the bundles. Okay, so now that we've got basics, oh, and I have quartz. See? Quartz. Right there. That is for Abigail, while we try to woo her. So today, while I do all this, we are going to talk about Kurt Cobain's death. Now, you might be wondering how there's a conspiracy theory about this. Actually, you're probably not wondering, because there was a whole documentary about it that came out last year. And if you haven't seen it, I can't remember what it's called, something Bleach Facts, something like that. It's really good. It goes into a lot of detail about what exactly happened and the mysterious circumstances regarding Kurt Cobain's suicide. Now, he's not the first celebrity to commit suicide, and he's also not... Oh, I guess I should probably have started this out by saying that I'm going to talk about suicide and drug addiction, so if those are an issue for you, please do not listen. I do not want anybody to end up upset because of this video. If you're just really passionate about Kurt Cobain, you can, go ahead and listen and comment, do whatever, that's fine. Please don't put yourself at any sort of mental risk for me. Okay, now that I've got that out of the way, Kurt Cobain. So, like I said, he's not the first celebrity to commit suicide, and he's not the first celebrity to have, mysterious circumstances around their death. Marilyn Monroe is another really good example. I will talk about her in another day, because I also believe that she was murdered and didn't just die. Now, I'm pretty sure that anyone listening is positive about, or already knows about Kurt Cobain's death. If you do not know, though, he committed suicide in Seattle, Washington, which I actually live in Washington, just a couple hours from Seattle, so that's always been a huge thing in my state, because it happened here, and he was such a big celebrity. He killed himself in Seattle by shooting himself with a shotgun, which is a really, you really have to be dedicated to take yourself out with a shotgun. That's a lot of extra work, I feel like. I feel like there's smaller guns that are easier. I'm not gonna, no, don't do any of it. I gotta be careful about what I say, because I tend to be very blasé, and I don't want to sound like I'm encouraging anybody. Don't do any of it. But a shotgun is really, you gotta put in some work. And he was also doped up on heroin at the time, so that is a big part of why a lot of people think that he could not have shot himself or killed himself. He had a lot of heroin in his system at the time. And a lot of people think that he had too much heroin to be able to hold a shotgun up to his head and kill himself that way. That's one of the reasons why I believe that he did not kill himself, but was in fact murdered by none other than Miss Courtney Love. Now, him and Courtney Love were having relationship troubles at the time that he died. She had just, I think that Kurt had just gotten Courtney taken off of his will, I believe. I could be mistaken on that one. I try to do some research before I start these videos, but sometimes I run out of time because I'm human. So, yeah, there's a lot of people. Did you know I was an all-star quarterback in high school? It's true. How long has it been since high school, Alex? Because you're still throwing around that football. Anyway, so I just love animals, Miss Rizzo. Treat them kindly, and we'll become friends. I'm sure. I'm sure of it too, Marnie. I'm gonna buy some animals from you very soon, as soon as I get 4K. Oh, Abigail and parsnips. That's what I was going to do. It's so hard to focus on talking and playing at the same time and figuring out what I need to do. Oh, hey, taking a break from work? This lady, this is for you. Take this. Hey, how'd you know I was hungry? This looks delicious. That's not food. That was a rock? That was not food, Abigail. Please do not eat. Don't eat quartz, everybody. It's not good for you. In the documentary, they touch on, one of the main figures in this documentary is the chief of police of Seattle at the time that Kurt Cobain died. And he himself has said that if he was the police chief right now, he would reopen this case in a heartbeat. So even the police chief thinks that something was weird about this. Not to mention that, like all too many things, because cops suck, I did it, hooray! I got the How to Win Friends mission done. So even the chief of police believes, and like so many things that the cops investigate, so many crimes, it got wrapped up very quickly, like too quickly to have done a real thorough investigation. There's so many celebrity deaths like that. Not even just celebrity deaths, like human beings, everybody. No one is safe from lack of police work, I guess is the word I'm trying to say. But, so yeah, even the police chief at the time, who's retired now, was like, I would reopen this case. Something isn't right here. A lot of it just adds up. Courtney had just been taken off of Kurt's will, and they were in the middle of, or they were about to start a divorce battle, and Courtney Love had specifically requested the meanest, nastiest, dirtiest divorce lawyer available. So she has very clearly shown that she is out for blood, which maybe literally, unfortunately. I mean, I think she did it. My best friend thinks she did it. You can hear my best friend talk about it from across the room. She gets very passionate about this. I am in full agreement with her. Courtney Love is a murderer. And there's a lot of people who have said that despite all of the things that Kurt struggled with, he was a happy, optimistic person, and maybe he wasn't necessarily mentally stable. I mean, he was addicted to heroin, and that's not usually a mentally stable thing. But I feel like you can have these, like, not good coping mechanisms and not necessarily want to die. And, like, yeah, he referenced suicide a lot, but he was also a father, and, he talked about, just because you talk about suicide a lot doesn't necessarily mean that you want to go through with it. A lot of people experience what I call passive suicidal ideation. I don't know if everybody calls it that, but it's definitely something that I call it. So, you can experience these passive suicidal thoughts where you feel it, but you don't really want to do anything about it. So I think that that's a big, I don't think he had a therapist at the time, so none of us can truly say where his mental health was at. I mean, besides being a heroin addict, which is clearly, not a good sign, not a sign of good, strong mental health, but it also doesn't necessarily mean that you want to die. Hi. Oh, did you want something? No, just saying hi, Miss Sweet Shy Penny. And so, and a lot of people around Kurt said that he was not actually, actively suicidal, that he did not actively want to die, but he struggled with these thoughts. And I just don't believe that every time someone has suicidal thoughts, it means they actually want to die. I think that that's a really common misconception. But, I mean, it's a valid one, but it is a bit of a misconception, I think, anyway. So I don't think that Kurt Cobain killed himself. It's, there's more evidence than just that. I mean, a lot to do with their divorce or their issues. Really, the biggest part for me is that he was just doped up on a lot of heroin, and I don't know if you guys have like seen someone on heroin, but they don't move, let alone hold a shotgun up to their head and pull the trigger. And shotguns are big and heavy, and I don't know why someone would pick a shotgun to kill themselves with when there's, like, you know, much easier guns to use. A shotgun is like a heat of the moment, I'm murdering my husband gun, which is another part of why I think it was actually Courtney Love who killed him, and it was not suicide, but either she paid off the police department because she's a rich lady, or, you know, they just didn't think it could have been her because she's a woman. I don't know all the reasonings behind why the police department did not fully investigate Kurt Cobain's death, but they were far too quick to rule it a suicide. It was definitely not, at least in my book, and in a lot of people's books. You know, of course there are people who, you know, like there has been with all the conspiracy theories that we've talked about so far, there's obviously groups of people who firmly believe one way and the other. And people have spoken out about the documentary and says it has a lot of what's called confirmation bias, which is where you basically look for answers that confirm what you believe. But I don't think that's what's happening here. I mean, there probably was, you know, a decent amount of confirmation bias in the documentary, but I think there's confirmation bias in pretty much anything that we, you know, release documentary-wise or write articles about. I mean, unless you're like a professional news source, obviously you shouldn't have any confirmation bias. But I think if you're, you know, just a person, freelance writer, writing an article or a documentary maker, there's going to be some, I'm sorry, if my character ever just stops moving, it's because I talk with my hands, and sometimes I get way into it and I forget that I'm supposed to be playing the game. So, you know, I think there's a lot of that confirmation bias in the world, and so I don't necessarily think that discounts the documentary in any way. I think that it brings up a lot of really, really good points about surrounding Kurt Cobain's death. I mean, so many people described him as a happy and optimistic person, obviously excluding the heroin addiction again. You know, and I was reading an article about this whole thing while I was just brushing up on my stuff, and someone was like, I don't know how many happy people have a heroin addiction. And it's like, well, anyone who deals with trauma can become addicted to drugs. You know, trauma is the number one gateway to addiction of any kind. So it doesn't necessarily mean that you are happy or unhappy. It's just this coping mechanism that you have given, and I think it's totally possible for someone to be happy outside of their addiction. Of course, addiction gets to a point where it controls your whole life, and that's not good. Addictions are, you know, obviously doing heroin is not a healthy way of coping, but I don't think it means that he was necessarily unhappy all the time. I think that he had stuff he was coping with, and this is his way of coping. And I really do not think that he wanted to die, even if he talked about suicide, because, again, talking about suicide doesn't necessarily mean that you actually want to kill yourself. Sometimes you just experience these thoughts and feelings of no control of your own. So, yeah, I don't think that Kurt Cobain killed himself. I think that he was murdered in cold blood by Courtney Love. Even the police chief, who was the police chief at the time, has said that he would reopen the case in a heartbeat. And yeah, there's just a lot of mystery around it, like so many celebrity deaths. You know, Marilyn Monroe was also one of those that had a very mysterious death. Like I said, I will definitely be talking about her as well. I guess these aren't just conspiracy theories, but also unsolved mysteries. But there's conspiracy theory to them. A lot of celebrity deaths have their own conspiracy theories. But that is our video for the day. Thank you guys so much for watching. I lost my train of thought there. Thank you for watching. Please like the video, subscribe to my channel so you don't miss the next videos. I will be back here tomorrow at about between 2 and 4 is my new, I'm going to stop saying 3 and I'm going to start saying between 2 and 4 because sometimes, like I said, sometimes YouTube takes 2 hours and sometimes YouTube takes 20 minutes. So I really never know. But thank you for watching. I will see you guys tomorrow. Bye-bye.